This week saw a major announcement from Dr. Anthony Fauci, or as the Chinese call him, Fao Chi, which is Chinese for corrupt and incompetent little man who may serve as a useful idiot in our plans to destroy the West, even as he's idolized by American journalists, or as we call them in Chinese, Fauci. Speaking from amid the dust and debris of the wonderful economy he helped to utterly destroy, Dr. Fauci said he would retire at the end of the Biden administration, apparently unaware of the fact that the Biden administration ended several months ago and is now simply the real-life version of Weekend at Bernie's, a corpse being held more or less erect by Democrats, or as the Chinese call them, Fauci. Dr. Fauci's announcement that he plans to finally stop wrecking everything he touches provided a chance to take a fond or at least horrified look back at Dr. Fauci's rise to prominence and power through a remarkably consistent string of absolute failures and betrayals of national interest, not to mention the sort of atrocious violations of the moral order that would get you fired or even arrested if you were anything other than a government bureaucrat, or as the Chinese call them, Fauci. Dr. Fauci made his bones, or at least made thousands of other people into bones, during the AIDS crisis of the 1980s. After taking the reins at the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases, Dr. Fauci funneled bazillions of dollars into useless vaccine research while directing money away from the antiretroviral drugs that were ultimately developed by private industries to tame the disease. Dr. Fauci also famously spread panic by telling people they might be able to catch AIDS simply through close contact to an infected person, which, to be fair, was true if that close contact included sodomy. At the time, AIDS activist Larry Kramer called Fauci, quote, an incompetent idiot who had spent the hundreds of millions of dollars allocated for AIDS research to, quote, establish only a system of waste, chaos, and uselessness, or what the Chinese call a Fauci. Dr. Fauci's NIAID went on to funnel American research money into experiments on animals, though Dr. Fauci denied he approved the mindlessly cruel torture of puppies in order to study parasites. He said he did it just because he liked mindlessly torturing puppies. Dr. Fauci then directed gazillions into helping the Chinese perform gain-of-function research at their lab in Wuhan so they could develop stronger infectious diseases to unleash on the West in the form of the COVID pandemic, also known as the Wuhan flu, the Chinese flu, the Kung flu, the flu Manchu, or simply Fauci. Once the pandemic began, however, Dr. Fauci rushed into the fray with his usual competence and sagacity, which is weirdly indistinguishable from criminally dishonest stupidity. Dr. Fauci dealt with the crisis by issuing instructions to the public, like don't wear masks, don't wear bad masks because they don't work, wear good masks, which don't work either, wear masks while on camera but then take them off when you think no one's looking. Wear masks on the 31st of October and go door to door asking for candy and spreading COVID. Or wear surgical masks and pretend you're a doctor, because after all, that always worked for Fauci. Dr. Fauci also advised political leaders to shut down the entire economy to ensure that all of Western civilization would be destroyed in order to save the life of one 90-year-old fat man. This would allow the fat man to continue praying for death because he no longer wanted to live in a world where incompetent bureaucrats torture puppies and destroy Western civilization. And so, as we crawl desperately to the end of Dr. Anthony Fauci's distinguished career, it only makes sense that his unbroken history of error and failure has made him a darling of the left, putting him alongside men like Karl Marx, Michel Foucault, and Barack Obama in the pantheon of leftist gods who are wrong about everything and turn everything they touch into crap, or as the Chinese call it, Fauci. If you want more great content, and who doesn't want more great content, like and subscribe, and also subscribe to the Andrew Klavan Podcast.